of Congo. Simiu, good afternoon. Thanks for speaking with us. So, are pirates really back, do you think?
I think the problem, there are two things we need to look at here. One is about the potential capacity of the Somali country to stabilize and therefore have some institutions that are meant to control and enforce law and order. For some time, I think people in this region never expected the Somali Republic to stabilize. With a new government in place and with a lot of goodwill from countries in the region and from the world, there's a possibility that those who engage in piracy those years are seeing like we are going to have a good stability, and therefore they want to continuously engage in instability for their own ends. Number two, there's been a lax and reduction of enforcement of the sea waters of the world by the naval powers that had engaged anti-piracy measures for a very long time. So two issues: the fact that there is potential stability for the government of Somalia, and the fact that most naval powers have actually retracted and retreated back to their shores, has given space for those who still feel they want to engage in piracy. And we need to understand that piracy had become a business. There are those who are actually surviving on piracy, and therefore they want to use this space that has been created by the retreating navies and the fact that Somalia may have a very robust counter-piracy coast guard for them to engage in this. So we need, as a continent, one, and two, as powers of the region, to ensure that those powers that have the capacity to monitor and patrol the navies, the seas of the Indian Ocean, are made to understand that this issue of piracy is not yet over. And to me, that's where the problem is.
Oh, okay, this comes at an interesting time when we're hearing of a possible exit date of AMISOM forces from Somalia, which is slated for any time in 2018. Do you see a relationship there where, and how difficult will that be now for that exit date? And it's a bit of a loaded question, because I also want to ask you about AMISOM and whether they're focused enough on the shores of the Indian Ocean. Perhaps the focus has been on what's happening inside Somalia and containing al-Shabaab, but perhaps not enough focus on what's happening on the shores of Somalia?
I don't think AMISOM had too much interest in the shores and the waters of the Indian Ocean. But we can correlate this with the fact that even as AMISOM is planning to retreat, we notice that there are countries that are actually getting engaged into Somalia. Egypt has declared publicly that they want to come in and support the new government of Somalia to beef up, to train, to give capacity to their security sector organs. The U.S. is actually upping up the game in assisting and having robust airstrikes in Somalia. So while AMISOM has not had much in terms of the Indian Ocean and the pirates issue, through the UN, many countries had actually deployed their navies in the Indian Ocean. So there's no much relationship. But yes, the fact that these pirates, imagine that because of the possible withdrawal of AMISOM, they might think that they have the capacity to start engaging the untrained and seriously poorly equipped Somali National Army. So the two are not in relationship. I think what remains is that, yes, they want to engage and continuously destabilize the government of Somalia so that they can continue having their way in the Indian Ocean. But at the same time, these countries that are actually engaging with the Somali government, and I've mentioned the two, I think with the possible stability and continuous capacity building, I don't think this piracy issue is going to last long the way we saw it in the 2010, 2011, and 2012 periods.
Thank you very much. That's Simiu Werunga. He's a security analyst. He's joining us on phone. Simiu,